first question. What is the surface area of a cone of, so let's take that, I'll take down the information. Radius 1.8, vertical height 2.5. Now usually in the exams you do get given a diagram to help you, but I'm going to just do a small sketch here at the side so that we can actually visualise the situation and the information we're given. We're told that that radius down there is 1.8. We're told that the height, now the height of a cone is a vertical height in the centre, comes down into the centre of the circle and it makes a right angle. Now that piece of information is usually very, very important. Okay, that there is going to be used. It's going to bring in Pythagoras' theorem. It's going to bring in Pythagoras' theorem, and those questions are normally used that way. So, okay, so what is the surface area? So you look at your formula booklet and it will tell you that the surface area of a cone is given by pi r L. Now L is the what's called the slant height of the cone. So L is that one there. And you can see straight away exactly what I was talking to you about. The information they've given you does not include the slant height. And that's the difference between what you might have done in grade 9 and what you've got to do in studies. There's a piece of missing information that you've got to find before you can actually use that formula. So if you want to get the slant height of this thing here, you're going to use Pythagoras' theorem. So what I'm going to say next is, over at the side, I'll say, well, L is going to be the square root of. Now, if you're calculating the hypotenuse, add the two shorter sides. 2.5 squared plus 1.8 squared. So that's going to give us that piece of information. Now, as I pull up the calculator, don't forget what we've been talking about. If you're going to be doing calculations which you're going to be rounding off, and this always comes up in these types of questions, this is where they like to throw in a unit penalty, for example, or rounding penalties for not rounding off properly in the questions. When I get my answer here, I'm obviously going to use that answer in a second part of the calculation. So that's my slant height. Now you can use that, I can use that full answer, because now that I've got that answer, I can just substitute it into that formula in my calculator. But you see, I'm also writing down working for the examiner. So what I'm going to do here, I can either write down that full display, but what I'm going to opt for is rounding it off to 4 significant figures. Remember, it's 4 figures because I'm not at the end. So you should always be able to count 1, 2, 3 if it's a final answer, or 4 if you're not quite finished. So that's the number that I could use. So I come back over here and now I can say, well, surface area then is pi times the radius times the slant height that I've just calculated to 4 significant figures. And that will give me an answer. However, if you've got it like this in your calculator, you could also always just say, alright, so I could take the answer and multiply it by pi, using the pi button. A bit hard to see on my screen here. Where's pi hiding? There it is there. So and use pi, do not use 3.14 because that's going to mess up your accuracy, times the radius that they told us, which was 1.8. So let's get that finished. 70, and there you go. Now I give my answer to 3 significant figures, 17.4. Now that means that my answers, let's bring it all up, 17.4. So 17.4 centimetres squared. Remember, area is always square units and volumes cubic units. That is a classic area for being given a unit penalty, not putting those units in. And that would be your final answer. That's the full answer for that question.